What's up, you guys? It's your girl Rossi, and I'm back with a special show. You guys normally know that we do our shows on Mondays, but tonight I had a special guest um, coming to the clubhouse. His name is Grandview, an artist out of Southern California, LA to be exact. He just had an amazing show at Harlow's. You all know Harlow's here in Sacramento. He opened up for Devin the Dude. And if you don't know who Devin the Dude, you need to ask somebody, all right? That's a legendary from Texas, from Houston, from is that where he's from? Yeah, rap a lot, guys. Scarface. So this is really big. Like that's pretty awesome. Grandview, welcome to Rossi's Clubhouse.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I want to say just the energy that you exude and just instantly when I walked in here, I really felt so comfortable and just
Thank
excited,
you.
to say the least.
Thank
So
you.
I really love what you guys have going on, and I can't wait to just have a conversation about everything.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. So for you, for those of you, sorry guys, I'm tongue twisted today. I'm usually chilling. So let me get to it. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Rossi McCree. I am an actress and a podcaster here in Sacramento. And what I do is I bring on the best out of Sacramento. And so it was a pleasure of me because I've always thought about, I do want to expand and have other artists on from other areas of California, just West Coast, period. So to be able to have Grandview be the first artist from Southern California is great. Um, Grandview. First of all, let's talk about the name. Everyone wants to know Grandview. Where did you get the name from?
Yeah, so there's like a couple meanings. First, like the easiest one to kind of relate to is that I'm from Manhattan Beach. That's where I grew up since I was like 5, and the elementary school that I went to, it's named Grandview. And
Okay.
so one is kind of like an internal, like, tying me to my hometown. I love the name Grandview though. Like when originally I went by Carter James,
Okay.
and I stopped making music a little bit during the pandemic. And then when I decided to go full in again and, really actually try and make this a reality, I wanted a name that I could project some of my grandiosity and just I wanted people to look at a name and it symbolized something. So from there, I was just thinking about what names would sound good. And I always loved the name Grandview. When I was in high school and I was making some DJ mixes and stuff, I would go by Grandview. So that kind of came back
Awesome.
to me. And then to me, Grandview sounds like someone that wants to be bigger than the box that society and their peers has put them into. And I think people can I try and transfer that emotion hopefully when they see the name. So that's, the kind of convoluted way of how I got to Grandview.
I love it though. I love it though. It's absolutely different. And yeah, Grandview. I love it. You grew up in LA. You said Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, so I was born in Queens, New York. My mom's from Brooklyn,
Wow.
my dad's from Queens.
Wow.
Parents got divorced, moved to LA with my mom in when I was about 5 years old, 3 or 4. Moved to Manhattan Beach when I was 5. So I really grew up in Manhattan Beach, which is like a suburb kind of in the South Bay. It's a really big,
Okay.
like just a town.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but LA through and through from, I still live here now. Went to college in Pennsylvania for a year, but then transferred back to an LA college. And yeah, so I've been here for a very long time.
What made you get into music though and hip hop? How did you get into that?
Yeah, so growing up, I was a really competitive soccer player. I was a really big athlete. I played volleyball and soccer. Music
Okay.
was always something that like I really enjoyed. I always was on back in the day, obviously there was dap hip hop, new hip hop.
Yeah.
A really big one was This Song Is Sick. I was obsessed with it. I go on there every single day, Two Dope Boys. And I always loved finding new artists, and music was always a big part of my identity, but sports was so important. When I went to college, though, I stopped playing sports because I had to get a surgery, so I wasn't able to play. I was going to try and play D3 soccer, but
Mhm.
decided not to. And I think a lot of times with athletes, you have an identity, and then
Yeah.
because you're not an athlete anymore, there's almost like a loss of identity.
Right.
And there's so much kind of like competitiveness, grandiosity, whatever it is inside you. And then I had some stuff personally like happen. I had something really traumatic happen before I went to college. And there's this kid on my hall that freestyled and rapped, and I remember like listening to him, and I was like, I could do that. Like I
Mhm.
just know that I could do something. There was something that was like something inside me. I was like, I could do that. I know I could do it well. And then I
Mhm.
started doing it, and it started being my therapy through that really traumatic experience. And I kind of equate it like this. Steve Jobs has a quote where it's like, passion's a lot like love, when you found the one. And the minute I started writing, I was like, my parents and all my friends thought I was crazy. I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I just like knew.
Right.
I knew instantly. And, it's not been a linear path, but I
Right.
started the tragedy to triumph is kind of the
Okay.
narrative thread, I would say, in there.
Okay. Who
Yeah.
influenced you? Like, were there artists? I know I read a list, but I want you to tell us who was the major influence as far as hip hop goes for you?
Yeah. I mean, so growing up in LA, like Odd Future and Kendrick Lamar
Hell
were
yeah.
gods to us.
Right.
One of my best friends, my roommate Abu, is from Ladera Heights. Like that's where Tyler and all of Odd Future's from. So we knew
Okay.
about them back in the Radical days. They had this mixtape with like the Scarecrow. Like we knew about them before
Okay.
Yonkers and stuff. So they were kind of like the first people my age that I saw doing it, and like they kind of
Right.
bridged into it. And then Kendrick was like, I listened to Section 8 and Good Kid, Mad City all through high
Right.
school. But before that a little bit, those were the two people like growing up in LA that like kind of sparked me getting into the dogs because I
Okay.
wanted to keep up with them.
Right.
But Eminem was the first rapper I really, middle school he was such a
Right.
gateway into it. But that's kind of like in the beginning of it, and then it's really
Mhm.
become Logic is a
Okay.
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the thing about Logic is like you can obviously hear some of the influence in the music, but it's really just like the person that he is and the way that
Okay.
he carries himself and the way that he interacts with his fan base. Brockhampton is
Okay.
easily one of my favorite groups ever, and they influence my sound immensely. And then interestingly, Flume and Porter Robinson and Fred again,
Okay.
and Deza, which is like electronic music, I would say,
Okay.
have big influence on the sound. So it's
Okay.
kind of all over the place. I can't pin into one thing, but combine all those maybe with a little bit of
Right.
Lupe Fiasco, and it
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
all comes into
So
grand.
your how many albums do you have? Like
Yeah. I've one right now. Time is on our side.
okay.
It's like my debut mixtape. I did like some
Hell yeah.
EPs before trying to figure out how to make music. This is like my full official like debut body of work. Is Time is on our side.
Right. It's really good. It's so you guys all of Grandview's info will be in the links in the bio of the video when it comes out. So you guys will be able to tap into him and you guys will be able to find a lot more out about Grandview. But I was listening to you can go to Spotify and listen to his whole album. It's on Spotify. So listening to it over the weekend. And I was telling Grandview that he has this one song called This Too Shall Pass. I think that's probably the first song that I heard. And I found it on TikTok, just to let you know. I did find it on TikTok because you put your name in as well, and everything comes up. So I found that I really like This Too Shall Pass. You guys will love that. But you have 14 tracks on this mixtape. Do you write?
Yeah, I read everything almost. Yeah, I think
Wow,
almost all that
really?
project, whether besides like the features, like the rap features, they write their stuff,
Okay,
but all the
right,
vocal features, whether it's to Kiana Coker in Why
right,
Live for Later, or if
right.
it's like I wrote the hook for that. For Hire for Kevin George, I wrote the hook for that. So I really try and write everything.
Tiana, that's a beautiful song. She has a beautiful voice. The song is called "Why Live for Later," and that's another beautiful song. Love her voice. The what do you call them? The features. Sorry, the features that you have on there. Superpowers with Chris Patrick, Seth Such. Really good. Like the production on your album it's great. I was telling Grandview that like if you guys put on his music, for instance, if you put on This Too Shall Pass or Deja Vu, I'm telling you guys, I was telling him that I felt like I was like driving down the California coast and just top down, breeze in the hair, listening to him. So how would you describe your music to fans or new listeners?
Great question. Thank you for that. That was very kind. Everything you just said, by the way.
Oh,
Um, I would say, it's bright, alternative, really like bright, distinct alternative production with, sharp, relatable lyrics. And I love melody. So I always try and
okay,
throw a melody in the hook because I think it's very
okay,
important for listeners I don't want to just rap at them for 30 minutes.
right,
I want to allow them to come away from the song feeling like they felt something through the melody.
right.
So that's how I would describe it, I would say.
Right. The opening of the melody, opening to this too shall pass. I keep talking about it because I really do I really do love that song, and I've been listening to Deja Vu all morning long. Anyways, but yeah, I love the fact that a lot of your songs are melodic. Who is there someone that you can compare yourself to that you can say like your rap style is different? I mean, I hear notes of Drake, maybe. I hear some techno in there, maybe. I hear a little bit of kind of everything in your music.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pin it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Yeah, I think that is a compliment. I think I would say it's like the excitement slash, diversity of Brockhampton with
Okay.
the relatable slash sharp lyrics of like Kendrick, Lupe, and Logic.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
like that's what I would say. Like those
Okay.
three lyricists plus Kanye, Brockhampton, Flume, Puerto
Okay.
Rico production. That's how I'd say.
Um,
Which is a
so
wild, by the way, which is like a wild way to describe it. So for anyone listening, I know that sounds grandiose and crazy. I'm trying, but I know that does sound crazy. But yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. We understand here. We get it. We love music here at Rossi's Clubhouse. So what brought you to Sacramento? Well, I know what brought you to Sacramento, but I guess the question is, how did you come to open up for Devin the Dude?
Yeah, so first off, I want to give a big shout out to my DJ and producer, Ionius Matt. He's one of my best friends. He's been with me since day one. He's from Sacramento. So we've
Okay.
always wanted to play a show in Sacramento. So we always kept our eyes open. And then
Nice.
last November, I was going to open up for this artist named Echo at the Mint in West Hollywood. It's a really, awesome venue. And sadly, something happened where Echo wasn't able to make it. But the company putting on the show was We Book Bands, Sean Healy Presents. We grew a great relationship with them, and they always kind of like say, "Hey, these are the shows that we have in the city." We're able to look at that, and we saw the Devin the Dude one, and we were like, "Hey, can we get on that show?" And they were like, "Yes, of course," because they
Wow.
trust us. So I want to give a big shout out to We Book Bands. They're incredible. So much of the nicest people. I know we've been talking with Mike over there, and yeah, they're just they truly put on an amazing show, and they always kind of deliver for us. So yeah.
So Grandview, he was just at Harlow's. It was this past April 26th. It was on a Friday, and so that's where Devin the Dude performed. If you guys were lucky enough to go to the show and see the show, I hear it was very exciting. It was a very exciting show. And so back to Devin the Dude, you knew about him though when you did the show for him. Had you listened to him before? Do you kind of know about him with
Yeah,
Rap a
no, I
lot?
definitely. I knew that he had records with like Snoop and stuff, and he had like
Right.
so just big influence. He's from Houston, and I just like knew that there was like, I knew the name naturally just from
Right.
historian in me, and then I was just excited. Like I just knew
Right.
that it would be something that it would be an honor. So when I saw
Absolutely.
the name on there, I just I jumped.
Right. So being that we're Northern Cali and you're Southern Cali, I always ask my artists, what's the difference between like the Bay and Sacramento? For you, is there a difference from the Sacramento music to Southern Cali or NorCal versus Southern Cal? And it's
Yeah,
all love, guys. It's all love. Like we love them from Northern Cal to Southern Cal. So
yeah, well, 100%. Yeah, I think there's always like a kind of a bounce from the Bay. You kind of understand.
yeah.
And like you can really that obviously is always translated. Yeah, I would say there's like a difference in like sonically the sound. I feel like Los
Right.
Angeles is very smooth, very laid back. Like
Right.
you're trying to craft this warm, kind of like almost like I don't know, ethereal, like sunny atmosphere.
Okay.
I would say
Okay.
there is like a difference, but again, yeah, so much love from all of California. I think it's California's done a great job of uniting a lot of artists together. So
Right. Do you enjoy doing shows? Do you like opening or even just doing your own shows? Because I hear that for some people it's a little stressful. Depends on where you're at. How do you enjoy? I guess that's the question. I mean, live
yeah,
shows.
of course, yeah. I think it's such an important aspect of the fan and artist relationship, and also the artist
Mhm.
relationship with the music. It's different when you're performing live. I do love performing live. I've been, I did 12 or 13 shows with Swayze in 2021, and that's when no one knows who you are and you're performing in cities every single night. Like I learned so much about performing, whether it's my vocal, just kind of like how the clarity of my vocals, how I put together a
Okay.
set list. I do really enjoy it because I try and make my shows. I love doing mashups, so I try and
Mhm.
always match up my songs with like old electronic songs that I love to kind
Right.
of give people a different energy with it. But I do love performing. It obviously is something that it's better when you're prepared and you have a crowd and you've sold tickets. So I like doing it when it's strategic. But yeah, I've played all over the country, and just
Wow.
it's such an important part of the relationship that an artist has with their music.
Well, what was the favorite your favorite city that you have to say that you performed for love and just I want to go back and do that again?
Yeah, well, I mean, like this one's kind of like tough to beat. So, at the end of 2021 in December, I opened for Swayze in Honolulu, Hawaii, and
Wow.
and it was their first. It was crazy. It was their first show post COVID. So there was like 150 people there, and
Okay. Yeah.
it was like massive, and like everyone was having such a good time, and that's like something that I'm always gonna remember is just like the
Mhm.
sheer spectacle of what it was. I
Right.
loved Honolulu. I also loved. I performed at the Mercury Lounge in New York, and
Okay.
that was a really special moment because like my two sisters, I have four sisters, two of them were able to come,
Wow.
and I'm also like from New York, obviously. So there's like
Right.
a so I love New York. I love New York City so much. So I would say New York. Pittsburgh was also really awesome as well. And then Delray Beach in Florida was really cool. So I would say those are the shows
Nice.
that I remember the most.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely nice. So I like to always find out about you artists. Like I want to know what's your process when you write? Do you have like can you just write or do you put some background music on? Do you run it back? Do you put candles on? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, of course. It's a great question. I mean, writing is such an isolating thing. So sometimes it's hard to get to sit down and actually just like force yourself to do it. But my process is usually like, especially for albums, I choose all the instrumentals for the album before I kind of like
Wow.
know I have ideas for songs, and I'm able to be like,
Okay.
okay, I want this song to sound like this. So I, get a beat that matches
Right.
that energy. And then once I have the beat, I sit down and I usually I write the verse, then I write both the verses, then I try and write the hook. And
Okay.
it's it's grueling in the sense that like I try really hard to make every line matter, but
Right.
it is one of my favorite parts of just being an artist is
Right.
expressing yourself in such a like I don't know vulnerable but also like
Okay.
creative way with it. So
Right.
yeah, that's my process. I'd say.
Right. Are you looking like as far as you're in the musical world, you're an artist. Have you thought about acting? Like, what else do you want to do?
Um, Yeah, acting. I mean, like I haven't really thought too much about that, but what I really, I have a podcast as well. It's called A Vibe Call West Radio. What I
Okay.
really want to do is like once I have a little bit more like capital and like have like making
Right.
money, I want to create a media company called A Vibe Called West,
Okay.
and I want to bring on other artists and I want to help them monetize their platforms. I want to create a podcast network where other artists can come on, and I just want to kind of build like not like a Barstool Sports, but like I want to
Okay.
create really like a content factory centered around hip hop, whether it's Complex, whether it's
Nice.
Pigeons and Planes. I want to make my own
Nice.
media company because a lot of artists want to make record labels, but to me, it's like the reason why record labels don't necessarily work all the time when it's artist driven is
Right.
because if one artist is generating all the money,
Right.
it's hard for like the top artists to be like, okay, I want to like give away my money to promote this one artist. So they'll do it
Right.
once, and let's say that artist doesn't do well, and they get shelved, and like that
Right.
to me can become toxic with the pattern. So I feel like the media company side is like I could bring on these artists, and instead of owning their music, I'm just helping them build a podcast
Right.
where maybe like for a year or two I have a percentage of it, but like
Right.
I think it's way less sticky that way. Like I can like still have a roster of artists, but
Okay.
I'm not like pigeonholing their creativity with their most important thing, which is their music.
Right. I
That's
was
what
going to ask you that about like if you were if you had plans of wanting to be signed. A lot of artists want to be signed to that big label, or if you wanted to stay independent. And obviously, independent is the way to go. So that's obviously the way that you're going, that
yeah,
you want to go. Is that with hip hop today? What do you think about hip hop today? It's
yeah,
so it's so it's gosh, it's just so different than 10 years ago? You know what I mean? Different animal.
I think I I think right now, because anyone can make music, it's like there's a lot of beauty in that, but then it like makes the market really saturated. And I think the consumer, like they like these listeners are like on a release Friday, like these people have so many options to listen
Right,
to. So I think the music is great. I think that there's so many subgenres of hip hop. It's almost like electronic music. Like there's trap, there's mumble rap,
right,
there's melodic, there's lyrical,
right,
there's cloud rap. There's so many different ways that artists, and I think they're all amazing. Like I'm not
right,
a lyrical rapper, but like I don't shit on mumble rap. 'Cause one,
right, right,
I think it's kind of corny because they're doing something like what they're doing is they're instead of relying on lyrics, they're relying on melody. And like
right,
these young listeners are loving it because it's kind of like rock and it's kind of like punk, where like the melody they're able just to kind of feel an emotion from it. So like I
right,
love all types of hip hop. First off, I want to say that.
right,
I do think though, what I'm trying to do with my next project is I think it's important to introduce new sounds into hip hop.
right,
Uh, and I would love some variation. So that's the one thing, I think that there's going to be a next renaissance.
right,
There was one with, Kendrick and J. Cole and Drake
right.
and A$AP Rocky and Chance the Rapper and Mac Miller and
Absolutely.
all and Wiz Khalifa. I think there's going to be a new one that we hopefully will see, and I'd love to be a part of that generation.
Right. I was talking to, but maybe it was Zay the Prophet. He's a Sacramento artist here, really big, but very talented. Anyways, we were talking about rap and how he goes about writing. But what I appreciated about Zay was I knew what he was saying. You know what I mean? He had something to say. When mumble rap came out with I think the Migos, it was dope at the time because that was something new and dope. And some of the old heads, some of us were kind of like, what's that? But honestly, the melodies, like you said, was really good when they came out. So back with Zay, I kind of had mentioned, I'm so happy that, you're not doing mumble rap. But I do want to say I do agree with you though. There's so many different categories of rap that's out, and I tend to like a lot of it. But I do feel like it got to a point to where after, Future and all of them came out in your 15, 16s and 17s, especially with the Migos, everyone, it was just all I would hear. It was all the same thing. Do you appreciate when you have the older rappers like your Scarface or even like your Devin the Dudes, your Ice Cubes, when they were kind of like, around the 16, 17, 18s, they weren't out like that. It was taken over by all the new rappers that were out. Do you appreciate the fact that they've come back and they're doing music again, like Sugar Free? He's out doing music again. I think I saw a video the other day. It was the Dog Pound. And they have a new song out, and then you have Ice Cube. Do you appreciate the fact that they're coming back out to kind of show the younger kids, we're still here, we're still dope, we're still making music that you can, kick it
Yeah,
to or whatnot?
100%. I think also like hip hop is such a young genre that like these are new perspectives of these artists that are aging into just quite frankly like an age that hasn't been seen in the
Right,
genre's history. So it's definitely fresh, and I think
right,
that it also is laying a blueprint for hopefully younger rappers to be like, wow, there is some like longevity here, and I'm able to
right,
have a long, impactful career. So I think it's setting a great example. And I think it's
right.
also offering a new perspective that hip hop definitely needs, and the audience is definitely aging with.
Yeah,
Every
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I come from that school of, of course, the Tupac and the Biggies and the Jay-Z's and all that. And, I embrace the younger artists that come up because, I mean, we want hip hop to live on, and we want something different. And I love the fact that there's everyone, that's the diversity in hip hop now. Everyone's doing it, like you said, and you don't necessarily have to have $1 million, record deal. You can literally, like you said, get on the computer, make some beats, and if you're talented, that can happen for you as well, like a lot of them did. Trippy Red and all them did. When it was the back in the days that they were breaking it on the internet. What do you think about the internet now and what it offers? I mean, you got kind of a, it's the internet's good, but there's some bad with it. But as far as music and how it's affecting hip hop.
Yeah, I think I think one, the power of TikTok. Like I'm a big proponent of TikTok. It's the way that
Right,
I'm, getting most supporters and the way that I'm
right,
building my community and fan base. I
right.
think that the nature of it is that it's more accessible and
Yeah,
like what you're saying, someone can make if your song is really incredible
yeah,
and you film it with your phone and you put it on TikTok, there is a
right.
chance that you can get a record deal or you can go
Absolutely.
viral. And that's beautiful. I think
Yeah,
also, but I do think it's I think it takes away some of one, the mystery of the artist. Like, like back in the day, there's more mystery. But two, sadly, I think artists post some of their first or second things, and the nature of the internet is that they're gonna shit on it. And I think
right,
sadly it might deter some artists that have so much potential, but they
right,
feel overwhelmed by all the negativity that they stop.
right.
So there's a fine balance, and you have to really persevere, and you have to be strong willed to make it.
Absolutely.
Because when people don't know you, unless you're like really incredible, they're going to shit on you.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, but like,
Yeah,
there's people that don't like Kendrick Lamar, so they're
right,
not gonna like you. Don't take it
right.
personally. You know what I mean? Like they don't like people don't like Kendrick. Like I think
I
he's
know, right?
so it's like I like take your ego down and like don't like listen to like also if someone's like this isn't that good. Like I used to use it like in like a Kobe sense where I'm like the next
Hmm.
okay, like bet next one I'm gonna try more. And I would be on the
Right,
mic, I'd be like, how is this gonna sound? Like what are the, like don't I'm not letting them control me, but it was a motivating feedback loop that I had in my head when I was trying to break onto TikTok. And I
okay.
finally have a really positive community. Shout out Team Grandview. When you guys see this, I love you guys so much. Like literally, I'm blessed. I want to bring this up. So
Yeah,
I did this giveaway where I made 100 CDs, and I'm actually I've an extra one. I'm going to send you one, Rossi.
please,
Um,
thank you, thank you.
I signed 100 CDs, and I wrote a letter, and for free we sent them out. I had 100, I had about 95 fans give me their addresses, and I just sent them out to them for free.
Did you really?
Yeah, so we literally only have 2 or 3 left. So I'd love to send you one. We pretty much like
Absolutely.
got them all, and like just like in like it's a fraction of how many people wanted more. So
Right,
it's like I'm blessed to have such an incredible community. So Grant, like Team Grant, I call my fans, not my I don't call them, my supporters Team
right,
Grandview because you know when the Lakers win, like
yeah,
you feel good, like you're
right,
like
right,
Lakers won, like and like you're like we won, and I
right,
want if anything happens in my career, it will be because of the fans. So I want them to feel like they're a part of the team, and like if they ever see me, they
right,
see me doing this podcast, they're like, damn, like yes, like we're
right.
making it, like we're in progress. So that's what I would say. That's what the internet. That's the power of the internet, though. You couldn't
And
do
that's
that.
the right. That's the good thing about the internet. When I was talking to Tech Trey, we were talking about that same question I posed to you about, how do you feel like the internet has affected hip hop and good or bad? I was thinking like back in the day, like you said, celebrity. When celebrities were celebrities, rappers were rappers. You couldn't reach out to them like you can now. It was that mystery. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah,
saw Snoop walking down the street, you lose your freaking mind because that you know what I mean? Like that's like that's a legend. That's a celebrity. Now you can reach out to them. It's not there's like you said, there's not so much mystery to it because you can touch them now. You can DM them now if they can possibly get back to you. When before it was just the excitement of it. Like for instance, like music awards. Back in the day, music awards were everything. I love music so much. I would ask my mom, "Can I please stay up late so I can watch the music award, hip hop awards, whatever it was?" Loved it because you just wanted to see your favorites perform. Now it's like it's taken some of that away because it's not like it used to be. There's no like I don't mind if I missed the Grammys. Before I would kill to make sure I could see the Grammys. So, and also like you said, the internet also gives everyone has an opinion. So it's easy to say Kendrick Lamar is sucks or he's shit because you can say that. You can, keyboard gangster say that. So yeah, you do have to be strong if you do decide to break it on the internet because people hate, people be mad.
I do. Yeah, I've felt it. I've gotten a lot in the beginning, and there'll probably be more as you get introduced to a bigger
Yeah,
audience. But
right.
yeah, the key is just you got to be a little delusional, I think, to like want to make it in music, and you kind of
Oh,
have to just like
absolutely.
brush that off. Yeah, so it's I would tell my friends, when I really started wanting to make music, I'm like, I'm from Manhattan Beach, like no one would ever dream of being a hip hop artist, like kind of like just like my background. I had so many people, my friends who I thought were my friends, people that
Yeah,
were my peers that would like make fun of me and thought that it was crazy.
right.
Uh, and it was like in hindsight, like they were
Yeah,
right. Like it is a ridiculous thing for me to try to do, but that delusion where you're like, I can do this, and you kind of
yeah,
press through,
yeah,
you wade through all that, just pushback is, my mom has a saying, cream always rises to the top. And I
right.
always, and I always really, it's like a very important quote that I live by. So
Yeah,
like if you move with pure intentions and honest actions, like I really think that, and you put in the work, like I think you can
right.
really do anything, but it does not happen overnight.
No,
I started doing this full time in 2021, and like right now I'm starting to just like barely see the fruits of my labor.
right. No, I totally agree with you. I think uh, those of us that want to be in this artistic realm, and as an actress, you want to make it, and it is hard, and it's hard, stepping into podcast, and I knew nothing about it, but you grind hard and you work hard and you finally get to this situation where I'm at. But I did have a lot of people look at me like, dreamer. You know what I mean? Like, come on, really, what do you really want to be? And it's like, no, like this is going to happen. It takes some time, but it's going to happen. So I totally feel you on that. Current project, let's talk about your current project, a little bit about that, and then what you have coming up for us.
Yeah, so I'm doing a trilogy. The first one was called Time Is on Our Side. The next project I'm writing is called Better with Time.
Okay.
And I've I've really started writing. I'm about 7 to 8 songs in right now. Crafting it. My goal for this summer, and like fans, we're gonna hit this. I'm just gonna say it is we're gonna release a single in June, then we're gonna release a 2-pack in July, another 2-pack in August,
Wow.
September last single, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, and I'm gonna really try and do this, guys, project in November.
Wow.
And I think it's really important while the iron's hot, and I'm coming
Yes.
off of warm reception from Time Is on Our Side. I gotta like really just deliver something really incredible. So, yeah, Better with Time is gonna be a really probably might be the most important record in my career. I think this is kind of like the moment where I can either really show everyone that I'm something to really be noticed,
Right.
or we'll see. So I'm just really focused, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity in the eyes that might see this. And yeah, Better with Time. The first song is called The Autograph, and we're gonna go from there. And I'm really excited for you guys all to hear this.
Well, I'm really excited, and I just appreciate you coming in and speaking with me and let me have some time with you, especially fresh off his show that he opened up for Devin the Dude. That's a really big deal. Like that's a really big deal. Congratulations to you because you had to work hard to get to that position to be even allowed to be on that stage with him. So kudos to you. I wish you all the best. You're gonna do great. The album, it's good. I mean, I'm just waiting to turn on the radio.
Exactly.
That's all I'm doing. I'm waiting on turning on the radio because this too shall pass. I want to hear that on the radio. I mean, basically saying you have something really good and you do have a great team behind you. I was checking everyone out and yeah, you have nothing but love around you. So, and I get that from you. You have good vibes. So,
Thank you.
last words, anything you want to say to Rossi's Clubhouse?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I want to give a big shout out to my team: Greg, Jackie, Matt, Eli, Andrew, B Star, Bernard, everyone that, whether it's through my videographers, my manager, publicist, like every single person, you're right, is so inspired. And my photographer, Kevin, like just like everyone that I'm just really blessed, and I'm so grateful. And their Team Grandview. I want to give a big shout out to Team Grandview. Thank you guys so much. All your words, literally the DMs that you guys send me changed my life, and they keep me going every single day. Thank you so much for having me on here, especially on a Sunday. I
Absolutely.
know how busy our weeks can get, so I'm really grateful for any platform and any opportunity to speak. And yeah, just Better with Time. this year, and can't wait to really make that hopefully an incredible album.
Absolutely. I'm sure it is. This album sounds very incredible. I'm sure the second one and the third one and the next one. All I want you to do is this. Don't be forgetting about me, and don't be forgetting that you came on this show when the next album comes out, because I would love for you to come back, be a friend of the channel anytime. Anytime you want to come and promote something, just let me know and we'll do it. Like whatever
100%.
day works for you, we'll definitely do it. I definitely want to watch your career and see where you're going, because I know you're going, like I said, I feel privileged you being here, because I'm like, wow, this guy is going to be somewhere here in a few months. Like, and I want to make sure that he comes back here. So,
Of course, no, I would be honored to come back. Definitely, we'll talk with Jackie next time, whether
okay,
it's the last single or it's the week of
absolutely,
the project. Let's definitely come in. We could talk about the whole thing, and
absolutely.
so, and also please text or DM me the address. I would love to send you a
Okay.
CD. And I
I'll do
really
that.
appreciate it.
I'll email Jackie. Jackie, thank you so much for sharing your artist with Rossi's Clubhouse and with Sacramento. I appreciate you so much. She was so dope, dude. She came in my DM, asked me, hey, your show came, by. I see that you interview artists in Sacramento. I have an artist for you. She sent me your bio. Listened to it with my husband. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you got to do this. Like, I already know I'm going to do it, but I want to share with everyone, because I like to get my director, my producer's feedback, and sent it to my producer. And he's like, I got you. I'll get the studio set up like right now. Get this.
Oh,
You want him on there. So, oh shoot. Let me say hi to one of our biggest fans here at Rossi's Clubhouse and Movie Lovers Unite. Hi, Jojo. I was wondering where you were. I was like, well, where's our girl at? She normally comes here, greet the guests. What's up, Joanne? Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. We'll see you next week on Movie Lovers Unite. Anyways, you guys, this is Grandview. All of his links will be in the video. Go and check him out. You'll absolutely love what he's doing. And we're going to follow Grandview, and he will be back. He'll absolutely be back. So I appreciate you guys staying with me here on a Sunday. To my listeners, my audio listeners, thank you guys so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. You guys, if you don't mind, leave a 5-star review. Let me know who you want me to talk to. You can hit me up at rossisclubhouse@gmail.com. Again, John DeGregorio, thank you so much, John. You've been great. Editing Unfiltered Studios, thank you so much for having me under your umbrella. I really do appreciate you guys rocking with me. So thank you so much. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I have YNG4L will be here tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Dope Sacramento artist. I've been following him for some time, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear his music and get to know him as well. So I'll be back tomorrow night with another show. Thank you so much. Hit the like, subscribe, and go into the comments. Let Grandview know what you think about him. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Don't go anywhere.